So I would like to personally come out and tell the nation of Indonesia the club is about to stick one to you. For a hint as to what and how, take a peek at Venezuela. They wanted their gold bars back. Hugo Chavez quickly caught fast-moving cancer and died shortly after getting those bars back, to which his successor, Mr. Maduro, has sold the gold to try to stay afloat. The place is practically a civil war happening right now. People are starving to death. National Guard's been called numerous times. Hyperinflation of absolutely epic proportions, unprecedented, because they tried the club, and the club don't play that. So Indonesia has absolutely tried the club on this one. If there's one bank, you know who, that you don't mess with, the club's club, you know what I mean? It's JP Morgan. And Indonesia just did so. So I want to personally come out here and tell the Indonesian citizens and the country itself, I'm not sure exactly what the club's going to do to you, but they're going to do something in retaliation. You do not take business, massive government business, away from JP Morgan. Prepare to have Indonesia have hyperinflation, currency wars, all kinds of problems taking place. Zero Hedge. Indonesia terminates all business relationships with JP Morgan after downgrade. First of all, I'd like to talk to the rating agencies. Just repeat what I just said. Rating agencies, do you have any idea who you're messing with? You don't downgrade the club's club bank. Unless you're doing it on purpose to usher in the economic collapse, to blame it all on Trump. And you got to take down one of your own banks in doing so. I mean, I don't know. Let's see what we got here. We officially have a new definition of thin-skinned, according to Zero Hedge, in what may be one of the most dramatic retaliations to a downgrade report. Indonesia's government said it has terminated all business partnerships with JP Morgan Chase after the U.S. bank downgraded its outlook on stocks in Southeast Asia's largest economy. The finance ministry announced it would stop using JP Morgan as a primary dealer and as an underwriter of its sovereign bonds. Robert Pakpahan, the ministry's Director General for Budget Financing and Risk Management, told reporters in Jakarta on Tuesday. And the reason? Pakpahan said a November research report issued by the bank was not, quote, accurate or credible. So Mr. Pakpahan looked at the report that the bank itself generated and found it to be not accurate and not credible, i.e., cooking the books. How many times do I have to come out here and use that damn phrase? Cooking the books. And it doesn't matter if you're just cooking your accounting books. You can cook all kinds of other books. You know, like whatever was actually in this particular research report. But anything with numbers, you can cook them. For instance, I mentioned this the other day in a video. United States, under President Obama, a White House economist, former, under Obama, said, his words, 94% of the so-called job creation were part-time jobs, which leaves a massive 6% were not part-time jobs, were what we would call real jobs. And of those, of course, of the 94, some are, again, these people, they go looking for work for a while and then can't find it. They're just taken off the list, so to speak. Or they become a number where they become a stat such as we think they got a job. So we'll just put that in the 94%. We think they got a job, so that's good enough for us. That's cooking the books one way or the other. It's however you want to look at it. JP Morgan downgraded Indonesia's equity market by 2 notches to underweight from overweight in a November 13th report as a tactical response to the Trump election win. The bank, I thought only rating agencies can downgrade. S&P, Fitch, no? The club can do this? Oh, JP Morgan? The bank also downgraded Brazil, while noting that both countries may provide a better buying opportunity later. Perhaps Indonesia's anger will promptly blow off once the warning shot has been fired, at least as of this morning. JP Morgan's business in Indonesia continues to operate as normal, the bank said in an emailed statement on Tuesday. The impact of our clients is minimal, and we continue to work with the Ministry of Finance to resolve the matter. The government doesn't see it quite as innocently, however. Any tax payments by Indonesian companies which were previously routed through JP Morgan will now be passed to the government via other banks, according to Bank Indonesia Governor Ogus Martowardojo. Okay. Augustus, honey, save some room for later. The biggest U.S. bank was part of an underwriting syndicate when Indonesia sold 3 billion euros, or here we go again with the numbers, or $3.1 billion of bonds in June. However, the lender wasn't listed as a member of syndicates for two more recent offerings denominated in yen and U.S. dollars, according to Bloomberg data. The government's action illustrates some of the difficulties in producing balanced research reports, said Alan Richardson, an investment manager at Samsung Asset Management in Hong Kong. I don't think it will affect investor interest in Indonesia, but it does reflect the difficulty of sell-side analysts to provide independent and objective opinions to their clients without upsetting the government officials and regulators, Richardson said. Meanwhile, JP Morgan's assessment appears to have been right. Foreign investors sold a net $2.8 billion of Indonesian stocks and bonds last quarter as investors dumped emerging market assets following Trump's victory. That drove local markets and the rupiah lower, forcing policymakers to intervene to stabilize the currency. Where have we heard that before? QE1, QE2, QE3, QE4, TARP, bailout. For now, Indonesia remains furious and blames JP Morgan for the recent market volatility. Banks should take responsibility for economic reports that could influence fundamentals in psychology, Finance Minister Sri Mulyani said Tuesday when asked to comment on the termination of the JP Morgan relationship. JP Morgan provides investment in commercial banking services to the public and private sectors in Indonesia, according to the bank's website. It obtained an Indonesian banking license in 1968 in the name of Chase Manhattan and opened a branch in Jakarta, followed by a representative office in 1978. So you've had that deal with Indonesia for decades. And you came out and gave a little opinion, which they said, your little report's nonsense, we don't buy it, but did cause us financial harm because everyone started selling out of our market. And you think you're going to maintain our relationship? Get out of here. However, Indonesia, you're messing with a bankster's bank. And it's the bankster's bank. Chase. JP Morgan Chase. JP Morgan, the likes of, at least Chase anyways, the Rockefeller family. You don't F with the Rockefellers. Just like they showed Venezuela what happens when you take their gold. And yes, they think it's their gold. You're just letting us borrow. We're protecting it for you. You idiot, it's ours. Good luck trying to get it back. And they had to call to get it back. Took a little while, but they got it back. That really pissed off the club. Now Venezuela is paying badly, including the citizens. Citizens, they didn't do this. Doesn't matter. You are a casualty of war, citizen. And the citizens of Indonesia, you too are about to be a casualty of war done by JP Morgan Chase. Okay? And finally, it ends with courtesy in the aftermath of the last financial crisis. It was the rating agencies who got the bulk of the blame. That sell-side equity research is now facing the proverbial firing squad when issuing negative research is rather troubling. This phenomenon is certainly not confined to the sovereign level and indicates how banks, once caught with a buy or neutral rating on any given name, are loath to cut or downgrade, aware of the potential foregone future revenue opportunities as a result of telling the truth. Assuming JP Morgan was telling the truth. Because even if they were, and apparently it looked like it, because like they said, they 2.8 billion, took off foreign investors. You still pissed off a country. So you kind of shot yourself in the foot. So you will feel that pain, JP Morgan. However, because you're going to feel that financial pain from Indonesia, I already know you will retaliate. You don't make a noise. You don't do anything as far as anyone's concerned. You do it behind the scenes. You go after their currency. You can start causing hyperinflation just by playing the Forex market, which we control in this country, which we know the bankers run this country, so they have complete access to it. They can flood buy and sell orders, Forex, doesn't matter, just like they do with futures contracts, gold, silver, oil, all that stuff. They do it every single day. They're trading pieces of paper, most of it digital. I have a piece of paper that represents silver. I'm going to sell it to someone online. The silver never moves. It just sits there. But if we could actually, which is how absurd this is, if you could transfer that one contract back and forth fast enough, you could create this fake volume. Oh, there's huge volume today on the silver market. What's going on? Oh, it's just me left hand selling with the right hand, but one single contract back and forth, at lightning fast speed. Or if you have a bunch of contracts and you are the market, as in the banks, you could flood the market with all those contracts, smash the price. They can do the same thing with currencies. You think Venezuela's currency just happened to do that all of a sudden because they're a socialist nation? They've been a socialist nation for years. Why all of a sudden? Why all of a sudden after repatriating their gold back? And then, of course, the club got the last laugh. You're going to sell it back to them, and they're going to give you more paper. Here's your paper money. Give us the real money, the gold. And they did. They had no choice. So I do foresee some kind of retaliation from the club against Indonesia. How soon? It's hard to say. I can't say. I don't know if anyone can. But just keep your eye on Indonesia, because I think they're about to get a little knock-knock present from a little knock-knock joke from JP Morgan. Take care.